Welcome on in, football fans. It is Friday, October 13th. Very spooky. I'm Kevin Carroll. He's Joe Soprano. And we are TLSportsBetting.com, your one-stop shop for everything you need to get in on the action this football weekend. Joe, Friday the 13th, do you think that's a good thing or a bad thing for us?
Well, it all depends on how your picks go. You pick a winner,
Yeah, I mean,
it's going to be a good thing. You pick a loser, you could be like I was last night, sitting there with West Virginia, giving 3 points, thinking you had that game won, and then that
dude.
quarterback took his helmet off. I had to self edit myself there. I was going to use some nasty language describing him, but let's put that in the past and move on
Yeah,
to this week's
thoughts and
picks.
prayers to any West Virginia backers out there. But yeah, let's move on because there's a lot of good games on the schedule. And I don't usually do this, but I have a Friday night special. So if you don't mind, I'd like to start. Is that cool with you, sir?
I think that was Don Kirshner in the Friday night special.
Don Kirshner in
So
the Friday night
we've
special.
got Kevin Carroll in the Friday night special.
To be precise, we've got Deion Sanders in the Friday night special. I've got Colorado minus 11.5. They are home against Stanford. And the first thing I'm going to tell you is that if you read my column in today's paper, which you should have, I got this number at 11.5 when I wrote it. Since then, since we went to press, it's gone up a point in favor because it's gone up to 12.5. But that should tell you that the big bettors, the people who are able to move the line, are on Colorado. So if you can't read for whatever, no judgment, and you only are able to get these picks by way of our videos here, I still think 12.5 is a good number too, so play 12.5. Colorado needs this game. They're at 4 wins right now, but this is probably the only soft game they have left. If they're trying to get to bowl contention, they need to win, and they probably need to impress. So I think they're going to have not a lot of trouble with Stanford. Stanford does have a loss to FCS Sacramento State this year. They've lost 4 in a row. Their only win is over Hawaii, and Hawaii's pretty bad. I know everyone likes Hawaii because they play at midnight, but Hawaii is pretty rough this year. And the big news for Colorado is that Deion Sanders has been saying this week that Travis Hunter, the two-way star who got hurt against Colorado State, is expected to be back this week. He's not expected to be on a pitch count of any sort. I would be surprised if he was playing both ways the whole time. I wouldn't want to do that to him if I were them. But just getting a boost from having your star guy back on the field. Shedeur Sanders has been terrific at quarterback. He's been made a couple of questionable decisions, but a lot of times they've been playing from behind because their defense is not very good. Stanford's offense will not test them the same way that some of these teams have. So I think Colorado should be able to put some style points up here. I think they win going away. I think they win pretty big for the home crowd.
Well, for my first college pick of the day, I'm going to go to the Saturday game.
Saturday.
I'm going to go to a fella who I don't know that he can read. It wouldn't surprise me if I found out he couldn't read.
Oh, no.
I'm going to the dumbest man in college football.
Oh, no.
Pat Narducci and Pitt. Louisville's getting 7.5 points at Pitt. Impressive win last week by Louisville over Notre Dame. I think I said on this video last week, I thought Notre Dame was going to win that game. Louisville's very impressive. Maintained a good game that whole game. Played well. I think you'll see a lot of that again this week. And Pitt's not a very good football team.
No, they're not.
Their starting quarterback from the first half of the season is now playing tight end. They're going with the Penn State kid, the transfer from Penn State as their starter tomorrow. I don't think it's going to matter. Pitt can't run the ball. They can't throw the ball. They can't catch the ball. They don't defend. They're bad in all aspects of the game. I took a look at their schedule just recently. I think they'll be lucky to get to 3 wins this year.
We are a Pitt hater podcast.
Yeah, well,
video, whatever.
Come back and tell me I'm wrong at the end of the year if they get to 4 wins.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you.
Not
to
going
be
to happen.
honest with you, I've never been
But
impressed with them.
Take Louisville in the 7.5 points. I really like Louisville in this game. I think they're head and shoulders above Pitt. The only thing that could be the fly in the ointment if Louisville has a little bit of a hangover. But with Jeff Brom as their head coach, I don't see that happening. I think Louisville wins going away here, probably in front of a raucous crowd of about 7,000 people in the stadium.
Man. Oregon State, they're at home. They are giving 3.5 points against UCLA. I think it's about time, one final time we could say this, it's about time for the Pac-12 to start eating itself alive. We see it when this is probably the best the Pac-12 has been in a long time. But we tend to see it with their good teams where they got to go, UCLA has to go to Oregon State, they lose. Oregon State in turn has to go to Oregon and they lose. It's tough to win on the road in the Pac-12. It's tough to win on the road at any power conference. That's really it. That's my shtick for this pick, is that Oregon State's at home. 3.5 points is not a lot. I've been really impressed with what they've been able to do. I was very high on them coming into the year. They brought in DJ Uiagalelei from Clemson. He transferred into Oregon State. He's been very good.
Yeah, that's why I never pick Oregon State.
You just don't want to say that name.
I can't pronounce that name.
DJ Uiagalelei. It's fun to say if you could get it right.
Yeah, I can't get it right.
He's been very good this year. He's been very good. He's been very sharp with the ball. And on the other side, I really do like UCLA's quarterback, the freshman Dante Moore, but he's had a couple of costly mistakes. UCLA's one loss to Utah. He ended up he threw a costly interception there at the end of the game. He's prone to making a couple of freshman mistakes, as is his status. I think he might make one more of those here. It's going to be a big crowd in Corvallis, Oregon. The Beavers this is probably the best year the Beavers have had in a long time. I know they sort of broke onto the scene last year, but they're really hammering it home that they're in the mix in the Pac-12. And I think this is a game they got to have. I think this is a game they're going to have pretty big.
Well,
someone honked outside.
That's how popular we are. There's people driving by, they see us shooting us, and they've got to honk.
NFL.
For my second college
pick. I got another college pick.
I get two college picks.
I can't count.
I'm going with another one of the mental giants of the college football game. I'm looking at the Miami Hurricanes and Mario Cristobal.
This is warranted. This is so warranted.
How when you've got the game won, you're up 3 points with 33 seconds left, all you've got to do is take a kneel and you hand the ball off. The man seriously should have lost his job. He should be out of work right now. But because of the way those contracts work, that's not going to happen. He's taken his team up to North Carolina. I think North Carolina's got a very good team. I think Derek May, they just got that receiver off of the it's been approved to play on the transfer.
Oh yeah.
They're a solid team. They're only a 3.5 point favorite at home. I think they win this game easily. I think Miami's going to have a real hard time. I think they look good early in the year. I thought they were a good team. I think they're going to have a hard time coming back from that Georgia Tech loss. Yeah. And let's not forget, they were only beating Georgia Tech by 3 points. This is a team that got blown out by Ball State the week before. That was not a good Georgia Tech team. And even if Miami would have hung on to win that game, it would have been not a good result for them. So I think they're getting beat here. I think they're getting beat by more than 3 points. I like North Carolina in this game. And you know what? If I'm wrong, here's hoping if it's late in the game and Miami has a 1-score lead, they figure out how to run that victory formation.
They don't. Cristobal never kneels. Going back to his days at Oregon, he never kneels, and it bit him again. It bit him back at Oregon. It bit him here. Ready for the NFL?
I am ready for the NFL.
Now, I know I said this before we started rolling. I didn't love the NFL board this week. I'm still sort of figuring things out. But for my first pick, I'm going to go to a team that I will freely admit I thought this team was going to be good. The Chicago Bears. The Chicago football
The Bears.
They are now. You can get it up to. I think it's 3 points now. But when I locked this in, when I wrote my column, they were 2.5 point underdogs against the Minnesota Vikings. Like I said, I thought the Bears were going to be good. They weren't good last week. They looked kind of good. I don't know. Mileage may vary on how good you think the Commanders are, but one thing you can't really dispute: Justin Fields finding DJ Moore all game long. I think that continues. I think DJ Moore is the piece they needed. I think it just took them a little while to connect. I'm not saying this team is going to go on a run and make noise or do anything, push towards the postseason or anything. But the Vikings are not good. They are 1-4. You remember last year the Vikings won all those 1-score games?
Yeah, they're not winning them this year.
They're 1-4. Every single game they've played was a 1-score game. I think someone in that organization sold their soul. It's Friday the 13th. It is October. It is spooky season. I think someone in that organization made a deal with somebody, maybe the devil, and it's come time to collect. So they're losing all these 1-score games. I think they lose another 1-score game here to the Chicago Bears.
Well, for my first NFL pick, everybody who's watched these videos knows I've been going against the Eagles because I don't think they've been putting whole games together at any point in the season. I give up. Eagles.
Yeah,
I'm taking you this week against the Jets, laying 6.5 points. Regardless of what the Jets did last week, I don't think they're a very good football team. I don't think Zach Wilson is a very good quarterback. I think the Eagles win this one going away. Taylor Swift won't be there for Jason Kelce, unfortunately. I worry about Jason Kelce. I mean, everything's Travis, Travis, Travis. You know, he won the Super Bowl. He's got dates with this superstar singer. I think we all need to give Jason Kelce some love. What's going on in his life? Let's find out. But you know, take the Eagles. You'll thank me later.
He's had a pretty good career for himself.
He has, but you know,
he's probably a Hall of Famer, I would say.
Even on the commercial, he's getting made fun of, and his mom's got to come in and tell Travis to stop it.
You know, yeah, you're right.
I don't know what that commercial is for, though, so it's not a very good commercial.
Yeah, usually when you watch a commercial, you like to know what it's about. Last pick for me is the Los Angeles Rams. They are 7-point favorites at home against the Arizona Cardinals. Last week, and the Rams are not having a great season, but I think in the early part, without Cooper Kupp, those first couple of games, they did admirably. I think they did, about what you'd expect. Kupp came back last week, led the team in targets with 12, 8 catches, 118 yards. The funny thing about him now, though, is that you can't really double him. He finds space no matter what, better than anybody in the league, really. But the emergence of Puka Nacua, and he still had a great game last week too, and with him being out there and commanding some respect from opposing defenses, it's going to free up Kupp a little bit. Kupp did not score last week. You're going to bet he's going to want to score again this week, or he's going to want to score for the first time this season. The Cardinals, I know they beat the Cowboys, and they played the Giants real tough. The Giants stink. And the Cowboys, well, who knows? But I'm not impressed with Arizona. Last week in a loss to the Bengals, Josh Dobbs had his worst week of the season. Less than 50% of his passes completed, threw 2 picks. The Bengals looked dead to rights for the first couple weeks. Dobbs is beginning to decline. They're not getting Kyler Murray back anytime soon. We know that now. And we also know that the Cardinals won't have James Conner. He's on the IR. It's going to be a mix of Keontae Ingram and DeMercado, who I'd never heard of before last week. Ups to him for getting his shot. But they're going to have a lot of trouble moving the ball. And I think Matt Stafford is having a bit of a resurgent season. He's not lighting up the board, but after last year, I think everyone thought he might be done. His arm was just cooked. He's figured it out, and having his best weapon back is going to be a huge boon for him. I think they're going to win going away at home here, and I think they're going to put together a nice little season.
All right. Well, for my last pick of the day, I'm going to go with America's team. They're going up. They're playing the Chargers. They're 2.5-point favorites. I know they got embarrassed last week on Monday Night Football, but I still think that's a good defense. I think they're going to come out and play with some pride on defense this weekend. I think you're going to see a salty, nasty Dallas Cowboy defense. I think you're going to see Micah Parsons have a huge game, and I don't think this game's even going to be competitive. I'm not a big fan of the Chargers. First of all, let's get rid of the baby blue jerseys. I mean, the football team should not be wearing baby blue jerseys.
No.
Gotta go.
No.
Go back to the old Dan Fouts era uniforms.
Oh, are you done?
Yeah, Cowboys given 2.5. Take the boys.
In the spirit of Halloween, I don't know if there's a team that has more of Jekyll and Hyde to it than the Chargers. Sometimes I think they're good. Sometimes I think they're awful. You don't know who's going to show up. I don't hate that pick. The Cowboys again last week, tough loss. But the Niners are just really good. I think the Niners are just so solid.
And they seem to really have a game plan focused on trying to neutralize Micah Parsons, and they did that very well, I thought.
All right, folks, there you have it. Head on over to tlsportsbetting.com. Sign up. Get in the game. Ball out this weekend. Everything you might want for a great football weekend is there. You got promo codes. You got picks and predictions. You'll see our faces on there. You'll see all sorts of good stuff on there. So please, click out of this video once you're done watching. Head on over to tlsportsbetting.com and get in the game. Joe, any final thoughts on this Friday the 13th?
No, everybody have a scary good time tonight.
Oh, I like that. Have a great night.